Offense for the Noles, and the Tigers and Florida State are ready to rock here in Tallahassee. McGrath goes off speed out of the gates, and Yane Henke will miss the sideline. Point to the Tigers.
I do like that they're trying to run through the back row as early as the first point because it just adds more layers and nuances to the offense. So even though that was a miss, it's good that they're running it early.
And for Florida State, who's been more dependent on the left side than they have been in years prior, moving your outsides around the court, vital.
Absolutely, especially when they put up a triple block on her. You've got to find openings in the block.
Off the opening point of the match, Luma serves for Clemson. They're on the dig as well. McGrath into the back corner and out. Dug out of play by Mio Yamamoto, and Mia McGrath has her first kill of the match.
Mia McGrath is only 5'11", but what she brings to the table is her height when she attacks the ball. That was a really high swing, and she swung over the block.
That'll send Luma, the sophomore from Franklin, Wisconsin, back to serve. Good pass there by Yamamoto. Strong block touch at the net by the Tigers. Henke with the roll from the back row. There's Mia Moore into the cross court and out of play. What a start for Clemson. The first 3 points all going to the Tigers.
It was a really good out-of-system set by McKenna Gilden, putting up her attacker Mia Moore in the perfect place to store.
And Mia Moore with plenty of pop. Literally blew up the floor in their senior day match up in Clemson. Took an extended stoppage to repair the Terraflex. Philly Maua off speed down the line, and Florida State's junior at the outside records the opening point for the Noles.
One of the reasons why Philly Maua is so difficult to stop is because she has the power. She can put a lot of pace behind the ball, but then she can also have the court vision, take something off of it, and see the open court in area one.
First full season for Philly Maua, who serves as a pin attacker, has spent a lot of time her first 2 years in the libero jersey for Florida State as well. Speaking of liberos, that was a nice up initially by Clemson. McKenna Gilden, one of the best in the ACC in ups per set, nearly kept her team in the rally. Nonetheless, a point for Florida State off a kill by Yane Henke. So each of Florida State's outsides are on the board. Mia McGrath already on the board for Clemson. That is kill number 2 for Mia.
Tricky shot by Mia McGrath. She comes in really strong. She looks like she's going to take a big rip on the ball. She doesn't drop her shoulder at all, so the defense is on their heels thinking she's going to attack deep.
McGrath, who comes into today 40 kills shy of 1,000 in her career, 8 digs shy of 1,000 in her career in that category. Already with a couple of kills in this match. And if you're not familiar with this arena here in Tallahassee, the ceiling is lower. There's some scaffolding, and it does come into play from time to time. That is the first ceiling ball, if you will, of the match.
And that was Kylie Filamawa on the D ball. She's playing middle back right now, but they just ran her from that right back row attack, and really successful swing by her.
More wrinkles of that Florida State offense. Decent serve there by Nanu Kapia, and not a bad idea going sharp there, but out of play.
It's hard to beat Mia McGrath because she's getting served, and then also they're setting her, and she carries a really big load for this team. That's a lot of pressure, but she does so with a lot of consistency. They're just over-rotated on the shot.
Service error. And Clemson leads once more here early.
We saw it against UNC. Service pressure is extremely important for the Noles. They like to apply the pressure, and when they do, it allows the other team to get out of system, to be off of the net, and they can run a better defense.
Every coach will talk about first ball contact, how strong you can serve, how well you can pass. Johanna Sova, the 6'5" middle, turned opposite, turned back by the block.
Mia McGrath did a great job tracking that ball. Good eye sequence to get the block.
This time to the middle, Delaney Ewing. That's kept up and popped over on the free ball. Second effort for Ewing. Once again kept alive. Sant, the setter, on first contact. And a net violation will be called against the Seminoles.
We're going to see really long rallies in this matchup. Clemson is #1 in the ACC in dig, so they're a very scrappy defensive team, and I think we saw that throughout that play. They just extend rallies and then forces the Noles to error.
Johanna Sova was called for being in the net. Chris Poole has come out and requested an explanation by our down official, the R2 Del Rosa Hughes, but elected not to challenge. So we resume the action with Clemson leading by 3. Henke on the attack, touched and out of play.
Henke brings so much power to that position. Watch how high she gets up and then how high she contacts the ball. She doesn't let the ball drop too much, driving it to area 6. That just caught the defender a little high. But when it's coming at you with that much pace, it's difficult to get your platform behind it.
D2 National Player of the Year, or National Freshman of the Year at Cal State LA, won a national championship there, came to Florida State, was the opposite for a year, and now as an outside has really flourished for the Noles. Ewing out of the middle. Gildon could not get underneath that ball. And that'll be a point for Delaney Ewing.
The Seminoles are at their best when they're passing in system right on their setter's head, and then they're able to run through their middles. Ewing has grown so much this season, and she can be so terminal on that one set in front of the setter.
Hitting .320 on the season, in fact, Delaney Ewing, who also leads the Noles in blocks. Lexi Mason's had some nice matches over the latter part of ACC play, including 8 kills, no errors against Carolina. That is number 26 in White's first kill of the match here.
And she's a freshman, so that would make sense that she's growing, she's developing her game on that right pin as the season goes on.
A player Florida State thought they might have to redshirt before the year began. Seen a lot more time than they anticipated. Off the front row combination, Mia McGrath comes into the middle and puts that ball away for another kill.
Coach did say they are going to run her every way they can out of the back row, in the front row, but almost on the 10-foot line on that a higher ball. But she's so versatile, she can swing along the net with just as much efficiency.
Senior from Deerfield, Illinois, goes back to serve off her most recent kill. Yane Henke caught hands on the way out. Another kill for Yane.
Yeah, just up and over the block of Catherine Sant, the setter number 6 for Clemson. Maybe jumped a little early and not enough along the line. She's about a couple feet away from the antenna, and that gave Yane Henke all the room she needed.
Off the back set, there's Hansen off 1 foot. And Henke rolls it from the back row.
In a perfect world, if you're Clemson, you've got one middle blocker up blocking that ball. Your off blockers are your right pin and your outside. You want them to drop back and dig that ball. So in a perfect world, I know they would love to have that back.
Instead, Florida State leads 9-8. Sant pushes to the slide, and Hansen once again. And Kate Hansen records the kill, her first of the match.
And that was good tempo for Kate Hansen. She's tall and she contacts it high. That set before was a little too low, which forced her to tip. But there you see setter-hitter connection kind of getting into a groove as we near 10 points.
Hansen, in her second season at Clemson after transferring from Texas Tech, is now back to serve. Ewing. Kill number 2 for Delaney Ewing, number 24 in white. The transfer from San Francisco. Good rotation through the net there.
And Ewing has a lot of success on that gap set, about 5 feet away from the setter. And all that does is stresses the block. The block has to move with her, and you're able to get some space away from the block to score.
Back and forth we go in this first set. Florida State finding success in the middle. Clemson trying to do so as well off 1 foot. Henke denied by the block. That is Nil Okur.
It's good patience by Nil Okur. Seeing the set is nice and high, so she's patient. She's got good eye sequence. She delays her jump, goes up, and then it's a good solid press over the net.
The senior from Istanbul, who transferred in from Michigan State. Mason, high off the block, played up by Moore. Out of system, down the line. And Mason found a spot where the Tigers were not, and the Noles manufacture the point.
That was some crazy defensive plays by the Seminoles. Great up. Yane Henke, it's because she's proactive. She's tracking that ball. She sees it going down the line. Even though her teammate touched it, she was still able to get it up with those quick twitch reflexes. And then they were able to get the point by just seeing the open court.
Fun first set so far. Each of these teams running well offensively to that point. There's another kill for Clemson. They're 7th as a team. Each of these squads hitting above 300 so far.
Yeah, really solid attacking, and the passing has been really good too. They've been in system. It's been a really efficient match, both sides.
First kill of the match for Nil Okur to add on to that block. Ties us up at 11. Yamamoto in there for first contact. Sova tips it over the block. Moore. There's some of that pop.
Mia Moore is so incredibly athletic. She gets her feet to the ball. She drives it down the line. She's got hop. She's got the explosiveness. They run her behind. And then she just avoids the block. Left-handed, so she's able to swing line.
Third on the team in kills this season, 228, in fact, for Mia Moore. Philly Maua goes 4-4 for Florida State. And she makes it look easier than it really is.
And what's so incredible about her is she wears so many hats. We call her the Swiss Army knife. She's got a really solid serve. She played libero earlier in her career, and then she brings the power from the outside.
Yeah, all ACC freshman team has a libero for Florida State. There's another kill for Mia Moore.
Catherine Sands, the setter for Clemson, is a really good decision maker. She knows Mia Moore is hot. She knows she's the hot hand, so she goes back at her. She's on the run, a little scramble, but hangs her inside, and then Mia Moore with that athleticism swings over the block.
Gildon with the service error. Florida State able to knot it up at 13 off her service. But you're right about Catherine Sands. 9 kills for Clemson as a team, hitting above 400. She spread the ball around beautifully.
Yep, coach said she's a student of the game. She loves the why behind the game, and she'd be a good coach one day.
Kaylin Russ into serve for Florida State. And there'll be a net violation called against the Seminoles mid-rally. And that'll go against Delaney Ewing.
You always hate to lose a set or anything, a play, by touching the net. Just because it's sloppy, you can clean that up, and I'd expect them to later on in the set.
Clemson a point away from sending us to the midway media break here in set 1. Delaney Ewing off the net fault. Goes to work offensively. Yamamoto's going to set the out of system to Henke. The Tigers got their hands down. That's an attack error by Yane. And that will take us to our midway media break here in Tallahassee. The Tigers, looking for their 6th win in conference play, are in good shape to start off this match.
At Clemson University, tradition meets transformation. Our purpose does more than drive us. It defines us. In roaring stadiums, in quiet discoveries, and in the connections we make. Enriching our campuses, our communities, and our state. Because the future belongs to those who move fiercely forward.
Hi, Bella.
The Subaru Share the Love event is proud to donate millions of dollars to charities like the ASPCA.
Get 0% APR on select new Subaru models, and Subaru will share the love.
Target's Black Friday deals are delivering big surprises all week long. Get 40 to 50% off Black Friday deals now at Target. Hurry, deals end Saturday.
It's one of those days we're not cooking dinner, so I pulled into Popeyes.
Smart. Popeyes $20 family meal feeds everyone while you take the night off. Take a holiday from cooking. Got a smaller crew? Get 5 pieces of chicken for $9. Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Well, it's been an exciting week for Yane Henke as she was drafted 24th overall to the Orlando Valkyries. But now, today, it's all about what's on this Florida State court. And Sean, she's been able to put up some really impressive numbers this season. What can we expect out of her today?
Thank you very much, Ansley. You're right. She's been nothing short of brilliant over the course of this season. And Madison already 4 kills on 9 swings for Yane Henke. There have been some errors, though, but she has already been offensive.
And she's a really solid passer too, and I think that's another reason why the Valkyries wanted her, is because her 6 rotation gameplay is so solid. And when you're in the pros, you have less subs, so you have to have those 6 rotation athletes that can pass, play defense, attack from the back row, and Janne Henke is very sound in all of those areas.
And what you guys could not see during the duration of Ansley's hit was the big smiles on both Madison's face and mine, which if you've been tuning in, you've probably heard us mention a couple of times that we also work down in Orlando. So we're excited to see Janne a few hours down the road to join us and the rest of our Valkyries family as we get the MLB season started in 2026. And how about Nellie Stevenson on the ace serve?
And that's just perfectly to the seam, in between areas 1 and 6, just right in that gap, able to have some success.
Mia McGrath tips it over the block. And Stevenson did all she could to get to that ball and put a first contact on it. Knowles weren't able to manufacture anything off of it, though.
Coach told us Mia McGrath has grown the most in her shot selection, and she's improved in that area. That's a perfect example of good shot selection.
6 kills for Mia McGrath. Henke.
That set a little inside. Henke is so quick to the ball, and as a volleyball player, you have to get your feet to the ball to attack it, or else the ball's just going to be too far away from you. You're not going to have the power with your approach, but she got her feet there so quickly and got the point.
6 kills for Janne Henke. How about the strong work at the net? Catherine Sant able to bat it back over as Delaney Ewing tried to terminate the overpass.
Well, I've talked a lot of volleyball this season. I have not seen a setter blocking in the middle, taking care of that ball. Good press, pointing those palms back to area 6.
Redshirt sophomore getting it done. Philly Maua into the tape.
The story of Florida State so far is just errors. They've been in the net, a couple service errors. Their attacker for Florida State.
And for Clemson, trying to take the fight on the road. They have indeed done so with 11 kills on 22 swings as a team. Again, just the 1 attack error. So if you're doing the math at home, that's hitting 455. How about that to start off a match?
Pretty good.
Stevenson gives Ewing enough room to get some sort of swing off. And the Tigers are able to put that ball away down the sideline. Everything's going Clemson's way.
You'll notice middle blocker Ewing for Florida State went up with the setter because Sant is in the front row. She also can be an offensive weapon, so she went up with the setter and then she was late to close the block.
Ajum Aksoy put that ball away down the sideline. Florida State able to side out off the service error by Kate Hansen.
And if you're Florida State, you're happy about that. You will take as many free points as you can get. Right now, Clemson's in a rhythm. They're hitting 478, so you love a missed serve before we get to that red zone.
That'll send Mio Yamamoto back to serve. Second on the Seminoles roster in terms of aces, north of 30, in fact, for Yamamoto. Mason swinging off the right. Philly Maua dug up and over by Gildon. Stevenson. Nice play by the setter, number 4 in white, finding the donut.
Yeah, good situational awareness, feeling the defense on their heels. First of all, it was a really good dig by Gildon, but you want a setter that can be deceptive. And she did that really well. She's in the back row, so she can't be above the net when she attacks the ball. So she contacted it on her way down. It was completely clean.
Florida State running the 6-2 setter, always in the back row, so that will be the scenario for either of their 2 setters. Strong hands at the net by the Seminoles. Philly Maua and Kapia able to knock that ball back into the floor. It's FSU's first block of this set. It ties us up at 19, and Jackie Simpson-Keir calls her first timeout.
And that was a good timeout. Volleyball is a game of momentum. Florida State just got 3 points. They're serving well. It was a great block by Philly Maua with that nice press. So you call the timeout, you take a beat, you talk to your team, and you just take a second, because this team is playing really well. They just need to regroup.
Overall, how would you assess the quality of the volleyball that you've seen in this match?
Really good. I think Clemson's playing very clean. Florida State is starting to get into a rhythm. They're starting to play cleaner. It's been really fun to watch so far. I think with both teams, they're passing really well. So I think the service pressure can definitely amp up on both sides. But we've seen some tight matches in the ACC. All of these teams, whether they're at the top of the conference or the bottom, they're so talented and it's so highly competitive. So we see long rallies and tight matches pretty much everywhere we go.
And this one's certainly no exception to this point, as the fans in attendance here get their last look at this iteration of Florida State and perhaps their first look at Clemson if they haven't been tuning in to see the Tigers on TV. We're here at Totally Gym. Sean Davison, the All-American here at Florida State. Madison Fitzpatrick, Ansley Topchick, the third member of our crew, on hand here as well. Approaching the red zone in set number 1, the final 5 points of a set. First to 25, win by 2 for this opener, and sets 2 through 4. Best 3 sets out of 5 to claim the match. If we get to a fifth, it's first to 15, win by 2 to determine who walks away the victor in this regular season finale. Mio Yamamoto in to serve for the Seminoles. Out of the middle, that is a missed connection. Nil Okur looking for the sideline, missed it. Point Florida State, and just like that, the Noles have won each of the last 3 points, and they are into the red zone first. Sant sets McGrath off the D-ball look. Philly Maua. Boy, I'll tell you what, Mia McGrath is making plays in every conceivable facet. We've seen her kills. We've seen her go to work defensively. I know she dug that out of play. We've seen her block, but my goodness.
And she gets targeted on the serve. I mean, the pressure that she carries for this team, the load that she carries is so immense.
2-point lead for Florida State. About as large as any lead they've enjoyed in this set. Strong service run by Yamamoto. Mia Moore this time goes off speed. Mio will set the out of system off the Bick to Henke. And Florida State, you mentioned it, Madison, they certainly have found their
young team carrying the load that she has. And I'm glad that she got drafted to go play in MLB. I'm glad that her expertise and how she has performed has been noticed by the pros.
And it has caught a lot of people's attention here today if somehow it hasn't done so yet. 7 kills in the first set and counting for Henke to pace the Seminoles. And that's going to be a net violation against Clemson. Actually, that would have been 4 contacts anyway, so they're not going to catch Nil Okur for catching the underside of the net when she tried to pop it back. 7-0 run for Florida State. Wow.
And that's exactly what you want of your head coach, Chris Poole. Started out a little shaky, but then good push at the end.
Sant, not a bad idea. Picked up, though, by Yamamoto. There's Mio Yamamoto yet again. Good cover by Philly Maua, covering her own block. Scrappy work, both sides. Clemson wins the rally and gets the much-needed side out.
Nice off-speed shot, a little bit of a roll shot, scramble play, good defense on both sides, but that is about as sharp as a cut shot, 4-4, as you can get just out of reach of Kylene Filamaua.
Ejim Aksoy, the freshman out of Turkey, recording that last kill for Clemson, and now the service error by Catherine Sant puts the Noles on the doorstep. Winners of 7 of the last 8 points, a handful of set points coming for FSU. And as we started, it'll be Nicholson to serve. Moore, off hands and out. 1 set point saved by the Tigers.
I mean, not to do a play on words, but they do need more of Mia Moore. Every time she has contacted the ball, she's been fantastic. 4 kills on 6 attempts, no errors, hitting .667, which is really high for a pin. They need to run through her more.
Really high for a pin, especially off the right, as number 22 in orange is. Luma serves. Philly Maua. Kylene Filamaua and Florida State strikes first, 25-21. Away we go in set number 2. Best of 25, win by 2. It's a service error by Luma to start, and Florida State strikes first.
Yeah, you got to have that service pressure. You have to win the serve and pass game. But if you're going to miss, you almost want to miss long because you want the passers to have to think about something at least.
That is the 4th service error by Clemson. Here's more. This time going off speed, and after we showed you the pop and the range that she has, this time, if you want to call it a changeup, I guess you could do so. That's exactly what it was for Mia Moore.
Yeah, and Yamamoto wanted that ball. You have Sova also going for it. You got to appreciate the effort. But look at the high contact on that tip, just rising up into the air, not letting it drop, and then showing that versatility.
Henke in there for the pass. And off the block and down, Mia McGrath has kill number 7.
And that was Mia McGrath off of 1 foot, so not even in a complete rhythm with her approach, but really well done. The block was on its way down. The block was not timed correctly, and then that allowed for the tool.
Clemson with the blocking edge over Florida State, 3-1 through the first set and change. Janne Henke this time rolls it over the edge of the block and down.
If you're Sands, setter for Clemson, you really want to have that one back. Your feet are there. You are at that ball. You got to take it with 2 hands. Easier said than done. My coach would always tell me, 2 hands. When you're there, take it with 2 hands. But sometimes you just want to throw out 1 arm.
So with that kill for Henke, we're tied up at 2. And I'll tell you what, Clemson is doing a good job of beating FSU's block. Hansen with another kill.
That was Hansen on the gap set, and then you can see the gap in the block. There's space in the block, and that allows her to get the kill.
Noles have been able to get their hands on a lot of balls defensively. They've scrubbed a lot of velo off. They just haven't put any down. Henke into the cross court and out. All systems go for Janne Henke early in set 2.
And she gets set in transition, in system, out of system. She can play cleanup for them. That was a beautiful out of system set though by Yamamoto. Really well placed, nice and high, gave Henke time to get her feet to the ball, contacted high and get the point.
Mio Yamamoto already has 5 out of system assists in this match. McGrath goes off speed over the block. Henke, once again, that's still up. And Clemson couldn't get it over on 3 contacts.
Clemson's getting these ups, but then it's a little chaotic in transition. They are a great defense team. Like I said before, they're leading the ACC in digs, but then it's what can you do with it? Janne Henke just with too much power there.
9 kills for Henke, hitting at 400. And as good as Janne Henke has been, Mia McGrath has been the counterpart for Clemson. Kill number 8 for Mia.
Watch the block. Block is supposed to take that area of the court. Kylie Filamaua right in between Filamaua and Yamamoto.
Stevenson pushes to Henke. Why not?
Man, she makes it look so easy. Just takes something off of it, drops that pinky. She sees the open court back there in area 1 and just drives it to it. If it was too high, the defense would have time to get there, but she puts enough pace on it to get it to go down.
Sant on the run. Katie Herta checking in here in set number 2. Snuck it inside the block. Madison, we've seen Florida State get up on these blocks multiple times and come up empty. What is the biggest issue with what FSU is doing at the net so far?
Just right there, you're not spaced correctly away from the net. You have the press, but your body's just too far away. That right there was a perfect example of what to do. You're nice and tight to the net. There's not a ton of space between your arms and the net, so it's like you're sealing it off. If you don't have that press, if you're too far away, you're not sealing anything.
Catherine Sant has 4 blocks in this match. Filamaua came into the middle of the court off balance and through the back. The errors starting to pile up for Florida State here early in set number 2. 3 kills, 2 errors, in fact. Clemson's won each of the last 3 points. Better pass there, strong block touch by the Tigers. Filamaua this time goes off speed over the top. Missed opportunity. Mason picked up. Herta dug up by Yamamoto. What an up. Herta again. And that's out of play.
What a rally. Both sides so scrappy, so gritty. Yamamoto continues to impress. She's in the right position. She lines up well. She gets her platform underneath it, pops it up. That was such a fun rally to watch. Both teams obviously want to own today. Both teams want to end the season with a good taste in their mouths, and their defense is playing like it.
5 assists, and now that was dig number 5 for Mio Yamamoto, who can also fill it up in this discipline here. Oh, and we mentioned the deceptiveness in set 1 of Nellie Stevenson. How about Catherine Sant, who's done a little bit of everything so far, adding a kill of her own?
Yeah, such a smart decision, just seeing the open court. Coach said she's a student of the game, so when you're a student of the game, you are constantly trying to scheme. You're trying to get better at strategy. And that right there is a perfect strategy when you're in the front of the court.
Mason. Moore. Mia Moore with kill number 6 on 8 swings.
We talk about how Mia Moore is able to just grow so much from season to season just by putting in the work, and she's showing off right there.
She's recorded as many as 15 kills in a match. That came against Georgia. And finally, Florida State able to find some answers with their net defense.
Such a beautiful block by Lexi Mason. The press was there, and it's not just pressing. You also have to turn your palms into the court to get that ball to drop inside the court. She did that perfectly. She dropped that pinky, pressed back to area 6, and got the straight down block. There was no covering that one.
Lily Nicholson will serve. Good first ball there. Good block touch by Florida State and Capilla. Sova off the right. Herta off hands. No call yet. It's going to be a net violation, and it will go against Florida State. Johanna Sova called for it. It's been a couple of times now, number 15 in white has been called for a net.
It's so hard to be a middle because you're going up, you're trying to press on the block, but then you're also thinking about transitioning off the net to be involved in the offense. There's a lot going on for those middles.
That'll increase the lead to 3 for Clemson. Nicholson has to go beyond the 3-meter line to set Philly Maua. Second effort for Kylene, recycles off the block. Nicholson denied. Will set Kylene a 3rd time. Still alive. Capilla kept up by Sant. Tigers are out of system to Moore. Into the cross court. Off the ceiling and still up. Moore again. Philly Maua covers her own block. McGrath dug up by Henke, and the attack error ends it. But my gracious, what a rally that was.
We should have started a timer at the beginning of that rally. Look at this save off of the top of the roof. Kylene Philly-Maua, so athletic, played beach, knows how to play 6 rotations so well, so crafty, and then you hate to have that way to close a play. But wow, what a rally.
On the flip side, if you're Clemson and you can win a rally like that with a 3-point lead, how big is that?
It's super deflating for Florida State. It gives you confidence, and then it's deflating for the Noles.
Capilla off the gas.
That's a good response. You don't want Clemson to get too far in the lead, so I love the in-system pass. Clemson has done a really good job at amping up their service pressure. Florida State's been off the net a lot of these plays inside out, but not here. Perfect 3-pass, and then they're able to run through their most efficient attacker in the middle.
And who better than Kylene Philly-Maua to apply service pressure on behalf of Florida State? Her run at the line will be short-lived, though. McGrath catching high hands off the block touch and out.
And if you look at the height disparity between McGrath and who she's swinging against, that block is so tall, so she was really smart with that. She got underneath it and grabbed the high hands.
Tight. Henke tips it to the floor.
That was a power tip. That was a straight down tip. Good on Henke for getting her feet to the ball. And then good on Stevenson for not being in the net, keeping that ball off of the net. Good body control, setting up her attacker to get the point. Florida State needed that, and now they need to go on a run.
Yeah, Nicholson gave Henke just enough room. And there was something about the operation there that Clemson didn't like. Madison, any indication in your mind initially as to what that might be that caught Jackie Simpson-Kier's eye?
I mean, maybe that Jane Henke was over the net, over onto their side when they contacted it. Other than that, it didn't look like Lily Nicholson was in the net, so I don't know what the challenge will be.
Setter when the setter set the ball.
So Del Rosa Hughes came over and explained that he wants to take a look at the net. That is what Jackie Simpson-Kier is challenging. She's challenging whether or not Lily Nicholson was in the net when she set the ball to Henke. As a reminder, here is what is reviewable. Whether or not a ball contacted a player on its way out, whether or not a ball was in or out, whether or not a player was in the net, which is the crux of our first review of the afternoon here in Tallahassee, whether or not a back row player launched from in front of the 3-meter attack line, which would be a foot fault, or whether or not a server launched from in front of the service line, which would be a service foot fault.
Let's take a look at this. Lily Nicholson, the setter, rising up into the air. Watch her right arm. Ooh, it's close. And then her body on the way down.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's a challenge on the play. The original ruling by the officials is a no touch by Clemson. The call is reversed. Point to Clemson.
Well, they saw something I didn't, and that's another opportunity for me just to say I am glad I am not a referee. Yep, nope, never mind. I was correct. She was not in the net.
Even the best of us in a long season can get names of schools mixed up.
Yep.
We appreciate the explanation by Del Rosa Hughes, and you can see him laughing after he pointed the wrong direction. Like a whoops, that's not the team I meant to point toward. Obviously, for the folks traveling from South Carolina, that's not going to make you feel any better. But if you're Florida State, Chris Poole exploded off the FSU bench. And now I think he's getting an explanation that he might be slightly more pleased with. It doesn't look like that's the case, but we'll see. Kylene Filimawa, meanwhile, is talking with Mark Prater, the up referee. So confusion on both sides of the net. I thought we were pretty clear in the explanation Del Rosa Hughes gave us of what they were looking at. Well, I'm not sure what more we can say.
Nope, other than these two teams are so tightly contested, every point counts, every point matters. So if you're Florida State, you're definitely going to fight for that point because you know it could come down to 1 or 2 points.
Well, now Clemson is in fact serving. So we said Clemson pointed at Florida State and then Clemson served. So not sure what went on there. Johanna Sova misses the sideline, and it is all Tigers in set number 2.
And if you're Florida State, you don't want to stack on point after point with an error. You want to come back from that little confusion and assert yourself.
FSU hitting a negative in this set. There is an ace serve to boot.
Clemson has done a really good job at amping up their service pressure, and that's a big difference from set 1 to set 2. They have gotten Florida State in a lot.
Set 1 offensive, set 2 decidedly more defensive. And our two players we highlighted from the outset have been strong to start, McGrath and Henke. And here's some more of that scrappiness by both sides. Knowles unable to keep the ball off the Terraflex there. And just like that, the Tigers have doubled up the Knowles. 9 kills, 7 digs for McGrath, 10 kills, 6 digs for Henke, the 2-6 rotation outside.
The stars are definitely shining. Both of those players, McGrath and Henke, are getting targeted in serve receive as well.
McGrath a dig away from 1,000 in her career. Here she is offensively. What a block. That was an absolute wall over there in the new Capilla.
If you're a young middle blocker, take note of this. Watch how quickly she gets there and then drives her arms up, pressing them over the net. Absolutely invasive with her hands onto the other side.
That'll send Kaylin Russ into the game to serve for Florida State. McGrath there on serve, receive. Hanson turned back by the block. Off the back bump, McGrath picked up down the line by Nicholson. Moore, roofed. Florida State making the adjustments at the net off consecutive blocks.
And this is how you get back into it. Scrappy defensive plays, whether it's net defense or floor defense, so well done by the Noles, stacking two on top of each other, and that's what it takes to get back in it.
First time Moore tagged with an attack error. There's an overpass put down by Florida State, and that's how quickly things can change. A strong service run for Kaylin Russ.
Kaylin Russ has been good behind the service line all season long. It's a nice flat float serve, and teams have trouble tracking it to their platform.
5th on the team in aces with 15. A lot of those coming here over the last few weeks. McGrath caught high hands to put an end to that run and preserve a sizable lead.
That right there is McGrath's bread and butter. She's a little bit undersized, so she uses her versatility in her attack, her high reach to contact the hands of the block, and then also her speed to get to the ball.
Tight. Sova off the right, wide open seam, and there's the first kill of the match for Johanna Sova.
It's a beautiful one-on-one situation. If you're Johanna Sova, you love that. You've got one blocker in front of you. You've got about 2 feet of space in between the middle blocker and the outside blocker, and you can just rip it into that open seam.
Sova, who has recorded as many as 6 kills in her career. That came a few weeks ago on the road, in fact, at Louisville. Stevenson serves off the dub sub. Tight to the net. It comes back out with Clemson. McGrath turns it down the line. And Mia McGrath has been tremendous.
We knew she would be. 11 kills, only 2 errors, hitting .409. Watch her get her feet to the ball, and it's almost like a full body crunch, a big snap to swing down the line.
That's a service error for McGrath, but still a strong start. And with more on her, here's Ansley.
Well, Sean, Coach Keir described Mia McGrath as the heartbeat of this team. Mia told me her senior season has been especially meaningful, watching this team become so resilient. And off the court, Mia has a strong support system, including her boyfriend, Clemson baseball player Drew Titsworth. They met 2 years ago and have become a little bit of a Clemson powerhouse couple, always supporting each other. And he even reps his Mac Attack shirt at games. We've seen a few of those Mac Attacks, right, Sean?
Oh, we've seen plenty of them, 11 in fact, courtesy of Mia McGrath. There she is with Drew.
Cute. Power couple. I love it.
But the Mac Attacks have been aplenty, and she is approaching double-double territory. By the way, has hit 8 digs. That's 1,000 in her career. This time setting the out-of-system ball to her fellow pin Herta. And man, Clemson's ability to respond to the slightest bit of momentum by Florida State has been so impressive.
Watch the follow through on the swing. That was so purposeful. The block is in front of her, but she's going to follow through nice and high to slide it off the hands of the block.
5-point lead for the Tigers approaching the red zone. Out of system for Philly Maua. Nice up, and it's dug over the top and out. Stevenson there for the initial contact. Nobody able to play it thereafter. Chris Poole calls timeout.
That's definitely a good call. No one was up there in the middle to get that. That is an overpass as a middle blocker. That is yours all day.
2 sets instead of trailing on the road 0-2 at the intermission. Clemson 5 points away from doing just that. Hanson serves. Philly Maua off hands and out.
That was a beautiful pass. Just right on the setter's hands. She was able to have some tempo in that set. Philly Maua is quick, so when you run that tempo set, the block is usually late. Philly Maua was able to beat the block, swing high off the hands to get the kill.
Mio Yamamoto will serve. Kill number 6, meanwhile, for Philly Maua. Florida State was in the net. Nanu Kapia on second contact, trying to pop that ball back to her teammates, caught the underside.
That's a tough one when the ball goes into the net. The key with that is patience. Let the ball contact the net, get nice and low, lift it with your platform, but it's really difficult to do that with the speed of the game and how fast it is.
That'll be credited as a kill for Neil Okor. Philly Maua goes sharp, 4-4 for number 12 in white.
Watch her drop her thumb. It's so good. Nice follow through, and the key to that is getting on top of the ball. So she has the snap on top of the ball to make it nice and sharp. That is very difficult to do.
Dropped it in front of McKenna Gildon, who comes in number 4 in the ACC in digs per set, number 28 in that white libero jersey for Clemson. Moore into the back corner.
Mia Moore finding all of the holes between the block and then deep to that area 1. Beautiful deep swing to the corner. That's a great set as well, pushing it all the way out there to her right side attacker.
Last season here in Tallahassee, these teams went 5 sets. We're a long way from that, but we could take a step toward it with Clemson winning set 2. An ace serve certainly helps.
The reason why a flat float serve is so difficult to pass is because it's moving so much from the time it contacts your hand behind the service line to the time that it gets to your platform. So as a passer, you have to be constantly tracking it, but it's difficult to do when the ball dips and dives in unpredicting ways.
Second service ace for Clemson as a team. By contrast, there have been 6 of those service errors. And so here's Kylene Philly Maua rotating back to serve for Florida State. That'll put Henke up at the net. And that is a service error in response. And Clemson has arrived at set points. Couple handfuls of them, in fact. And Gildon, who dropped in one of the Tigers' 2 aces, serves to salt away set 2. It's a good one. It's an overpass, and that will take us to the intermission. What a response on the road.
But balancing out, setting the hot hands, but then also keeping the block of Florida State on their toes.
So away we go in set number 3. It's a service error by Kylene Philly Maua, the 3rd error for Florida State as a team, offset by just 1 service ace. 9 combined errors to 3 combined aces between both of these sides. Gildon serves. Philly Maua off the D-ball.
And you saw the delay of Philly Maua's swing. She's at the top of her jump, but then she just hangs a little bit longer and then contacts the ball. So the block is on their way down, and it kind of messes with the timing of the block.
Philly Maua now with 8 kills in the match. Got off to a hot start, cooled off in set 2, did string a couple of kills together at the end. Henke sharp into the cross court. Moore ranges off the court to play it back. Sova. Nearly got us into the match. That is wide. And Clemson has the early lead.
First of all, it was a beautiful dig by McGrath, but then Sova's one of those players that when she gets into a rhythm, she can be so efficient. Right now, though, only 1 kill with 3 errors hitting in the negative.
So 2-1 Tigers. And that just missed the end line. An aggressive miss by Addie Raines.
And we talked about it before. If you want to miss on your serve, you ideally would like to miss too far out, because then at least the pass is thinking about it. There's an opportunity for them to touch it. If you're serving into the net, you've got no chance.
2-all trying to establish a rhythm here in set number 3. Off 1 foot, Hansen down the line. It's a good place to start if you are Clemson. If you run a 5-1, your middles have to be good on 1 foot to extend that offense down the net, Madison. Hansen's been solid in that respect.
Exactly, and I would got to give a shout out to Addie Raines, the passer who just passed that ball. Beautiful platform, really nice angle on her platform. She dropped her left shoulder. As a volleyball fan, I love a solid pass like that. Really well done. It allowed that slide to be run.
If there has been a bugaboo for Clemson so far, it has been the service errors. That is now 8 as a team, and that's 2 of Florida State's 3 points in this set. Pancake by Yamamoto. Sent! Beware the left-handed setter in the 5-1.
It is such an advantage to be a lefty and a setter, and then to also have that offensive mind. You have to if you're running that 5-1. You have to make the block respect you. Florida State block right there, not respecting her.
23 assists, 6 digs, 4 blocks, and now a couple of kills, and right on cue. No sooner do the Tigers put good offense together, and Madison is just killing the momentum of this set.
Yeah, Florida State's happy about it, but you're right. It's difficult to build momentum if you just get the point and then miss your serve.
Yamamoto serves. It's an overpass. Capilla could have tried to put that ball down. Instead, pops it up. Mason wants high hands, won't get him. And that is a massive missed opportunity by the Noles. I think Chris Poole is going to challenge a touch. But still, if you're Florida State, that is not what you want to do on an overpass, Madison.
No, and Capilla's a freshman, so.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is a challenge on the play. The original ruling, no touch. The Florida State coach challenges that ruling. The play is under review.
She's a freshman, so the older she gets, the more she's in the game. She'll probably grow her confidence and take that into her own hands and swing. But it was a good pass. They got the opportunity to run through their full offense. Let's check out the slow-mo. Doesn't look like it catches any fingertips from my perspective.
Is there perhaps maybe a touch on the left hand of Herta up at the net? Over around her index finger.
Maybe. If head coach Chris Poole is correct in his challenge, he gets it back. If not, he will lose it.
It's just hard to tell because from that angle too, the ball itself is blocking that finger out.
Good work from our team. Great angle. Look for the wiggle of a finger. Any kind of finger bending back. A little hard to see.
You need indisputable video evidence to overturn the call, and that might be the best look. If anything, it's going to be that left index finger.
She's trying to grab the high hands too. She's underneath it, she's not on top of it, so she's trying to snag some fingertips. Referee asking for a different frame. I appreciate how thorough he's being.
You have to respect the intent and the thoroughness to try to get the call right. And again, whoever wins this set, you can't win the match in 3. Each side has won a set prior to the intermission. So whoever wins this third would take a 2-1 edge and put the other team on the brink in set number 4. Clemson, by the way, was successful in a challenge in the first set. There was a little bit of confusion on the call and if it was overturned or not and which way we were pointing. But you can hear some reactions reverberating around Lucy McDaniel Court. The crowd here also able to see some of the different angles, but as much as they react and as certain as they might seem, their opinion doesn't count for much.
And then neither does ours. I like the way that Clemson has attacked this first set, though. The only thing holding them, or this set, the only thing holding them back is their service errors, but they've been really efficient offensively, hitting 400, whereas Florida State still struggling with some errors, hitting in the negative right now. So this is definitely a break in the momentum for Clemson. If you're Florida State, you can almost look at it as a timeout, take a beat, think about cleaning some things up. Check out another angle. Now looking for the left hand of the middle blocker, and no touch. Florida State loses their challenge. Clemson's point.
It is worth mentioning, if you go to a fifth set and you've lost a challenge along the way, you will get it back.
And I think that's the right call. From this look, I don't see any kind of finger wiggle, any touch there.
It's just so hard to tell. And our crew cooked up some great angles, but if they can't even find it, then that really tells the tale. It has to be call stands, and Florida State, to their credit, is able to side out immediately. Bear in mind, 3 out of their 5 points came off of Clemson service errors. So Florida State's still trying to find their footing offensively. A kill by Kylene Filimawa is a good place to start. If they can get both of the pins going, that will bode well for the Noles.
Exactly. Both pins, 11 kills and 9 kills. Next highest is Ewing with 2. So their outsides have been their main point scorers.
That's been the story for Florida State for the majority of the season. They've had the middles going a little better of late. Mia Moore beat the block. Johanna Sova rolls it over. Nice pickup down the line. Filimawa dug by McGrath. What a push all the way to the pin and Herta. Out of system for Moore. And to the Terraflex it goes. Kill number 8 for Mia Moore.
Setter for Florida State, Lily Nicholson, playing amazing defense in right back, extending rallies for her team, but Mia Moore comes in really strong. Watch this approach. She looks like she's going to attack that ball deep, and then the last second drops the elbow just ever so slightly and catches Florida State on their heels.
8 kills for Mia Moore. That was dig number 7 for Lily Nicholson, already in double figures in assists, approaching yet another double-double. Would be her 12th on the season, 10th in ACC play. Moore down the line, kept up by Yamamoto. Off the Bick, Henke. Played up by Luma. McGrath. Clemson wants a touch, and they will challenge.
They seemed pretty confident. Mia McGrath immediately, touch, touch, touch.
All right, look for touch here. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a challenge on the play. The original ruling by the officials, no touch. That play is being challenged. The play is under review.
Well, we've talked about challenges from a number of angles, and I do want to say one thing, right? Any challenge carries the potential of a 2-point swing. And so unlike, other sports where it might impact a certain play, it does have immediate ramifications on the scoreboard. Now, 6-6 in a set as opposed to 23-23 in a set, 2 totally different scenarios, but they could loom large once you get into the red zone. And we have another challenge here in this set, another touch challenge. And Madison, what do you see here?
Maybe the left hand of Sova. I love a slow-mo like this. Look at how high these athletes are getting. Kapia getting there, great way to dive her arms to close that block. Textbook stuff, diving those arms into that open seam. Oh, maybe look at the left hand of Kapia, middle blocker. Couple hands that could have grabbed from this angle. It's tough to say, I don't initially see one. Credit to Mia McGrath, who's only 5'11", but up as high as the 6-foot+ blockers of Florida State.
The call on the floor is that it was no touch, point Florida State, and just the 3rd attack error of the match for Mia McGrath, who already has 11 kills on 25 swings.
Yeah, if anything, maybe a touch on Kapia.
I think you mentioning that you just couldn't see a lot there, I think we might have, my assumption is we might have consecutive touch calls or no touch calls, right, that are going to stand. In fact, we do.
And looking at Clemson's faces, they're surprised about that one. Mia McGrath was very convinced, saying to the ref, hey, I think that's bad. Watch her rise into the air. She's up so high. She's got such a good vertical on her. I think that was the right call. I can't see it from this angle. You have to have indisputable evidence. That's a tough word.
Front row combination off of the lost challenge, and Clemson runs more out of the middle. What a response.
That's exactly what you want. If you're Clemson's coach, you're very happy with the sense of urgency that Clemson feels to get the serve back.
Strong service pressure there. It's an ace serve on the backside of the kill by Moore. Second ace of the match for McKenna Gildon.
It's a nice flat float serve by Gildon. That's coming at you with a lot of pace, and it's going across the court to Janne Henke's left hand near that sideline.
Third ace for the Tigers as a team. Better first contact there off the back one. Capilla is kept up by the Tigers. This time running the gap to Capilla. Florida State trying to get their freshman middle involved. And I believe that freshman middle got into the net.
I love the snap from Mia Moore. She's so explosive. It's almost like a full body crunch. And every time she attacks the ball, she attacks with a whole lot of aggression. Good reverse flow by Sant, the setter, and grabbing the top hands of the middle blocker.
In fact, they called Janne Henke for being in the net. Florida State says, all right, Clemson, if you're going to run some combinations, we'll run one ourselves. They bring Johanna Sova into her native middle, and Sova has kill number 2.
I like how Clemson is pushing the tempo of the serve. They get the point, they're going back, they're serving quickly, they want to keep the momentum, so that was a really nice response by Florida State.
Clemson with the lead by 2. Hansen off 1 foot, elevates and detonates on that volleyball. It's another kill for Kate Hansen, who has 6 now in the match, hitting around 400.
Tricky play by Clemson. You've got the middle Hansen running the slide. Mia Moore, the right side, running around for that 2-ball in the middle. Puts a lot of press on the block.
Rains drops it in short. Ewing kept up by Rains. McGrath off speed. Nice stab by Henke. Philly Maua launches from the back and finds the back corner. Well, you just get the feeling here at this stage of set 3, Florida State is just hanging on for dear life.
Absolutely, and they're relying on their reliables. They're relying on Janne Henke and Kylene Filamaua, who have 21 kills combined. Next highest has 2 in Sova.
It's been a better set 3 for Kylene Filamaua. Problem for the Noles is Janne Henke has not scored a point offensively in some time. There's an overpass. Henke will pop it out of the net. Now goes to work in transition, dug by Gildon. McGrath down the line, and that'll be a point for Clemson. That is in.
Great dig by Gildon. Really doing a good job of just being in the pocket in that left back position, popping it up. Nice set by Sant. What she's doing good here is leading her attacker, so then McGrath can go down the line.
Painted the line, and then right on the back side of it, another service error. In terms of running their respective offenses, it wouldn't even be close in this set, if not for several Clemson service errors. Herta into the backcourt. Yamamoto got a first contact on it. Nobody was able to advance the volleyball, and the Tigers continue to pour it on. Hitting 350 in this set, hitting above 300 in the match. It's an ace serve. Tack on an ace for Kate Hansen. The middle blocker with 6 kills, hitting exactly at 400, drops in an ace as well.
And that's something you usually don't see, a libero getting aced. So that was a good serve, dropping at the last minute.
Better pass there by Yamamoto, and that would have taken 4 contacts. A lift actually called against Florida State. I think the Noles might have been in trouble regardless off that big-time rejection by Nil Okur. And the Tigers are starting to gap things here at the midway point. Mason gets a look into the cross court and down. How about the decision-making to go to the opposite there, Madison?
Yeah, I like that decision, and it was a beautiful reverse flow. I mean, the ball was coming at her. She could have easily gone to their reliable in the outside, but I think it's important for Florida State to get other players going. If Janne Henke is having a quieter set, you need other players to step up.
Florida State trims the lead down to 4. Yamamoto in to serve. Okur off speed over the block. Misconnection by the Noles. Herta over the top of the block. FSU will be out of system here. Philly Maua is able to blow up the block for the kill.
That's all that power that Philly Maua brings every time she attacks the ball. She comes in really strong. She's got a lot of momentum on her approach, and she just powers it through the block that wasn't pressed into the court.
Mia McGrath leads all scorers on the floor. Philly Maua and Henke co-leaders for the Seminoles. 12 for McGrath, 11 for each of Florida State's 2 pins. And Mia McGrath just beat the block off another impressive swing. Kill number.
She is just as terminal.
18th career double-double for Mia McGrath, in addition to hitting 1,000 digs, in addition to leading everybody on the floor offensively. Kylene Philly Maua doing her best to keep pace. That is kill number 12 for number 12 and 1.
Clemson applying that service pressure and really targeting Yamamoto, who's trying really hard to nail those passes, but the service pressure has been amazing. Good job on Florida State cleaning that up and getting the point to side out.
And Yamamoto, who is usually so incredibly reliable. Lindsay Allman told me after the UNC match, there was a large stretch of the match where she was passing at a 2-7.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Herta. Philly Maua has decidedly become the hot hand for Florida State and has kept them in this set.
And she saw the gap in the block occur just a little late to close. Watch that gap, and she just drives it through it so quickly because of the pace of that set.
Good service pressure there by Florida State. Herta kept up by Yamamoto. Henke launches from the back throw. Opportunity for the Noles. Another look to the Bic, and it's dug over. Philly Maua cleans it up at the net.
That was a slugfest for the Noles. Everyone being aggressive with their attack. Good for Clemson digging those balls up, but that is a gimme. Great, beautifully placed. Just a little bit too tight. Nice overpass, and then Philly Maua, that's her job. You take care of the overpass if you're at the net.
Kylene Philly Maua had 7 kills in the first 2 sets. She has 7 in this set alone. More off the block played up by Nicholson. Mio Yamamoto laying out to set that ball. Here's more again. Off the outside hand of Philly Maua for the tool.
That was a crazy set from Yamamoto. Out of system, beautiful reversing the flow to the outside, but Mia Moore with all that power off of 1 foot too, but it's the follow through. The block is up in her face, but it's the follow through with her hand to get the arms of the block.
Yeah, that set by Yamamoto took my breath
That was
away
crazy
there for a second. Luma will serve, up 2. Florida State goes off speed out of the middle with Nanu Kapia. Now they reverse the flow to Sova, and that is kill number 3 for Johanna Sova.
And that was an opportunity for Florida State. If you get a ball like that, you know you need to put it away, especially when you're down by 3. Now they're within striking distance, only down by 1, so they were down by 2. But that was something that they had to have.
The 3 kills for Johanna Sova, countering the 3 errors early. Moore into the cross court and out. What a strong swing by Mia Moore up over the top of the double block.
And she didn't have a big window to swing from right there. She was off of the court. The block was up and pressed at the right time, but she's swinging over them in the perfect placement deep in the corner.
2-point lead for the Tigers. Good pass by the Noles. Better block by Kate Hansen.
A masterful block. She swallowed it. Just up, press, right timing. It's not just throwing your arms up. It's the press and the timing, and she did it perfectly.
3-point lead. What an up by McGrath. An incredibly sharp swing by Jane Henke was dug up, and that was good enough. Clemson doing just enough there to stay in the rally. Florida State makes another error, and the Tigers have a 4-point lead approaching the red zone.
Mia McGrath really does have her fingerprints all over this team.
Florida State was able to find a way late and win it going away. Set 2 largely all Clemson. Set 3 back and forth, mostly due to Clemson's service errors. Offensively, it hasn't even been close. The Tigers are hitting nearly 400 as a team in this 3rd set. Henke. Dug up by Luma. Yamamoto crashes in. Henke, roofed. The Tigers have all the answers for Janne Henke.
Mia Moore and Hansen did a really good job for the entirety of that rally. They got a good block touch the play before, and then here, just swallowing that ball, shoving it straight down.
6 blocks for Clemson as a team. Capilla off 1 foot, off speed, out of play. Point Tigers. They have won each of the last 5.
Gildon running for that ball, trying to dig it, just missed it, and that ended up working out in her favor.
Off the D-ball. Philly Maua snuck it inside the block for the kill.
Philly Maua has so much hang time. She's up in the air. It's almost like she's up there for 5 seconds, waiting for the perfect time to strike. The block on their way down. Watch her on the D-ball, gets good space, nice set, drives through it, and then just finding that space in between the blocker's hand and the net.
8th kill of the set for Kylene Philly Maua. Off 1 foot, there's Hansen. Henke. Played up by Luma. Moore off the edge of the block. What a save by Lily Nicholson. Moore sneaks it inside the block and down.
Lily Nicholson deserves a shout out. The energy, the grit that she's showing on defense has been absolutely phenomenal, but Moore is posing quite the problem for Florida State. 13 kills, only 1 error, hitting .545, so very consistent.
That's been the issue for Clemson. The service errors in a Kylene Philly Maua onslaught really have been the story for Florida State to give themselves a shout here in this set. 11 errors from the service line as a team.
And if you're Florida State, you love that. But you have to capitalize when you go back behind the service line and make some plays.
McGrath wants high hands. She will get them.
Whenever coach told us that Mia McGrath is working on her shot selection, that is included in that high hand swing. Just taking something off of it, not getting as on top of it, being more underneath it, and then following through to grab the fingertips.
Henke. Miscommunication by Florida State. And Henke off the roll, able to record the kill. Whew.
Clemson is doing a great job at defending Janne Henke, but this was a smart shot. They're defending her deep ball, they're defending her sharp swing. And so then she takes something off of it, drops that shoulder just a little bit, but disguises it well and gets that open donut hole.
Kill number 12 for Henke, who goes back to serve. It's an overpass, and Ewing puts it down.
And that's Ewing's job. You take care of the overpass, putting it down. You don't give Clemson another chance to recycle the ball up and make a play on it. Straight down, then also good court vision, knowing that no one's there.
3rd kill for Delaney Ewing. Good ball there. Hansen tips it over the top, but misses the sideline. Clemson's going to call a timeout. Florida State finding their footing here over the last sequence of points.
That was a dime of a pass by Mia McGrath. So pretty. Hansen trying to get creative with it. The block was in front of her. She saw this. So Janne Henke's not in a rhythm. You need Sova, Ewing, Mason. You need one of those players to step up and get some kills.
Noles have won each of the last 3 points. McGrath kept up by Stevenson. Noles are out of system. And Hansen denies Philly Maua to bring up set points.
Love a good straight down block. I say sometimes that's almost like 2 points because you get the energy on your side. You get the momentum. A straight down block, nothing fires the team up more.
6 kills, 4 blocks, an assist and an ace for Hansen, who serves set point. Florida State, if they can get Delaney Ewing going, could that be the something else the Seminoles need?
Absolutely. I mean, the game versus UNC, Ewing was on fire. She was putting that ball straight down. They were setting her on the gap. They were setting her on the one. She was so incredibly efficient, and she was the difference maker, so they do need her to step up.
Fourth kill for Delaney, number 24, as she rotates off the floor. Still set point for Clemson. Herta, dug in the back row by Henke. Philly Mawa into the corner.
And that's what it takes, a play in transition. One scrappy dig to give your offense a chance to score. That was a beautiful dig by Yane Henke.
2 set points saved by Florida State. Yamamoto will serve. It's a good serve. Clemson has an opportunity here. They go to Herta. And Herta puts it down in the back corner. What was nearly an ace turns into a shut. It'll be Clara Luma to serve, a must-win set 4 for the Seminoles. Henke. Out of system for Moore. And Mia Moore goes to work immediately. She is going to have a new career high. It's at 15. That was kill number 14.
Out of system set, and so to hit that ball that sharp on a set that's coming from behind her is really difficult to do, but that's just how athletic she is.
Opening point of the set to Clemson. Florida State runs the Bic to Philly. Mawa dug back over. Now to the gap, and Ewing. McGrath off the top of the block and down.
Just from those first 2 plays, the difference between Clemson and Florida State right now is the aggression in which Clemson is attacking the ball, whereas Florida State is looking a little timid, not swinging away like they usually do.
Tight. That is dug over and out. Point Florida State.
Florida State in those last 2 sets siding out 52% and 66%, whereas Clemson siding out well above 70 in both of those sets. We'll see if Clemson can continue to side out like that.
70% generally considered to be elite. Moore. Off speed over the top and down. And I referenced the 15 kills against the Bulldogs in non-conference play. She has equaled that mark today.
And only on 24 attempts, too. So that's a 583 hitting efficiency. So not only is she racking up the volume, but she's doing it efficiently.
Co-career high. Henke out of the back row. Dug over by Sant. Philly Mawa.
And you can see Philly trying to fire up her team. She looked at Yane, really good eye contact. That's very important when your team comes together in that huddle. So she had good eye contact, said, hey, great up, and then she got the kill.
Noles back within 1, first to 25, win by 2. For Clemson, it'd be for the match. For Florida State, it would be to force a 5th. Moore out of the middle. There's a new career high off the front row combination.
I love the combinations that they're running on offense. We've seen Mia Moore hit so many different ways, but right there coming in through the middle with that left hand, identifying the hands of the block of Kapia, swinging away.
Mia Moore, a senior who waited her entire career to play in what is likely her final match in a Clemson uniform, recording a career high. How about McGrath, her counterpart? Same story in terms of this being likely her last match. And boy, what a good one she is conjuring up for the Tigers as well.
Yeah, she's going all out. I love the aggression. I also love the defense from Addie Raines, getting underneath that ball, popping it up. She's serving now.
Off the Bic, Philly Mawa dug up by Gildon. Hansen tips it over the top. Florida State has to send a free ball over. Hansen off 1 foot, dug down the line by Yamamoto. Boy, really good offense there by Clemson. A great first contact, a 3-option pass, and it allows Hansen to get going.
With the defenses being as good as they are, it's all about who can finish in those long rallies. It takes a lot of, I've used the word mental force, smile from her. That smile says it all. She's the hot hand, she's a hot lefty hand, and Florida State's having trouble blocking her.
Philly Mawa has been the equation that Clemson has had a hard time solving here of late. Now the Noles reverse the flow to Mason, and Clemson gets hands on that as well. What great defense by the Tigers. Capilla off the gap. Philly Mawa. Stop her if you can, and lately the Tigers just haven't been able to.
And I love that Philly Mawa learned from that last attack. She took something off of it, she tipped it. Clemson was there, they were ready for that. So she learned from it and then swung deep with all that power to get the kill.
Approaching her 7th 20-plus kill match of the season. Nicholson serves. McGrath blows up the block. That's a tool. That's a kill for number 23 in orange.
Mia McGrath is an athlete, flying through the air, undersized, but playing with a chip on her shoulder. The block is there. The block is tall, and the block is pressed. But she says, no, I'm not worried about it. I'm going to get a kill with aggression.
Henke off the bick. Gildon has just been nails defensively. And Florida State tried to dig it out of the net and dug it out of play.
It's kind of been the story a little bit for Florida State in this match. Just some weird plays that haven't gone their way.
Tigers with a 5-point lead in this 4th set. Nicholson pushes to the pin. Philly Mawa. That'll be a point for Florida State off the touch, says our officiating crew.
It was a beautiful set by Lily Nicholson, pin to pin, really getting her body behind that, pushing it all the way to the pin. It's a gorgeous set.
And I believe Jackie Simpson-Keir is going to use her remaining challenge right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is a challenge on the play. The original ruling is no touch by the officials. The Clemson coach challenges this ruling.
Well, no matter what, win this challenge or not, head coach of Clemson, Simpson-Keir, has got to be so proud of the way that Clemson has come out in this set. Super aggressive. That is a tough call. Watch for a wiggle of the finger, a bend back of any of those 4 hands. What do you think, Sean? From this angle, that's tough.
Well, from that angle, the ball kind of blocks out the hand as it's coming through.
Look how high Kylene Philly-Mawa is above the net. Right, last angle here. Right hand of middle blocker, left hand of opposite. I don't necessarily see it, but I'm usually wrong. Left fingers right there. Yeah, you see a little bend back. Good job to the crew behind the scenes. That's a great look.
And while we continue to make sure we get everything correct, again, a tip of the cap to our officiating crew for doing their due diligence. We'll shout out the crew that's working behind the scenes for us. She already did, Madison, but a lot of these folks traveling back off of Thanksgiving, fighting the traffic here on this Friday afternoon to get back to Tallahassee. There's a soccer show coming up in, about an hour and 5 minutes.
And you're doing play-by-play?
I'm doing color for that, actually.
Color?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'll be double dipping. A lot of our crew, in fact, will be double dipping, and they are working hard already, providing some of those replay angles. That is an unsuccessful challenge by Clemson. And in a match where a lot has gone well for Jackie Simpson-Keir, service errors have been one thing that haven't gone her way, and now she's out of challenges.
And to put it plain and simple, Florida State needed that. Clemson was on a roll, playing very efficiently, hitting 583 in this set. They were running this set. They were running the momentum and the pace of it. So Florida State needed this. Maybe this can be the momentum stopper that Florida State needs to get it back on their side.
A must-win fourth set for Florida State on their home court. Trying to force a fifth for the second consecutive season at home against Clemson. Philly Maua denied by the tape. Hansen was ready and waiting, but didn't even need to put a hand on the ball.
Hansen does such a good job, even if she didn't touch that, at tracking the ball and being in the right location. You see that late dive of her arms into that angle that Kylene Philly-Maua was trying to hit at.
Off the back one, Kapia puts that ball away for Florida State. Noles back within 4.
That's only Kapia's second kill, hitting in the negative right now. She's another one of those where if they can get the pass, it would be good to get her going.
Over the last 4 matches coming into today, Nanu Kapia, by contrast, was hitting closer to 400. Misconnection there by Clemson. Florida State will take it as they trim the lead to 3.
Yeah, that set just a little too far off the net. Middle blocker not loving that one. Couldn't get her body behind it to swing. That ball was behind her.
Tough serve there by Kapia. Clemson has to send a free ball over. Ewing knocked back. And Clemson hangs in the rally long enough. Madison, you said it earlier, that has been the story. Yes, there's been plenty of flash for the Tigers, but they have just hung in there long enough for Florida State to make a miscue.
That's kind of their thing, hanging in there, making good defensive scrappy plays, and then causing Florida State to be off rhythm.
Bad pass there. It's another point for the Tigers.
I talk about owning the pace of the set. Right now, it is all Tigers.
And Chris Pohl has seen enough. A timeout for the Seminoles. Here.
If you can get a couple players to start to step up like that and take a stand that they're not going to go down like this, then you can kind of get the momentum onto your side.
Henke operates off the block, and Clemson again puts their hard hats on defensively. Ewing was able to find space and terminates for the kill. But there are a lot of teams that have come into this gym that would have been done for off that swing by Henke.
Exactly, but it's the scrappiness of Clemson, and then I love, with a good pass, running through Ewing, who can be so efficient. It was a nice high contact, good follow through, and she identified the hands of the blocker really well.
Stevenson will serve. More, oh my goodness.
That setter-hitter connection between Sant and Moore has been on fire today. Running her behind, nice high ball in the middle. Lexi Mason not there to help on the block, so she saw that lane and she took it.
Lead back to 5. Tough serve, Luma low and flat. Induces the overpass, Okur puts it away.
And that's a tough situation. Set her in the back row, but she's up there at the net. She can't jump to block that ball, so it was basically just an open net.
Third kill for Nil Okur. Florida State having trouble on first contact. Gildon's got to set the out of system for Moore. And Mia Moore, with just her second attack error, gives the Noles a little more life midway through set 4.
And that's 100% excusable. Only your second attack error as a pin attacker that's incredibly efficient. If you're Mia Moore, you're shaking that one off.
That'll send Jane Henke back to serve. Florida State works in transition to Philly Maua. And Delaney Ewing swats that ball down. FSU trying to string together some points here, get the run going.
That was really good tracking by Ewing. Seeing that ball You almost want your hands to act like they're not together. So that was really good. She just dove that right hand in there to get the block.
McGrath dug up by Yamamoto. Philly Maua.
And we can feel the momentum kind of going towards Florida State, and all it takes is a couple scrappy defensive plays and then someone to step up in transition to get the kill.
You think if Florida State wins the next point, Jackie Simpson-Kier considers a timeout?
I think you're right.
Moore, never matter. Mia Moore says no timeout necessary. A seam seeker that finds the back corner for kill number 18.
Beautiful corner swing right into deep one area zone. No one back there.
Lead back to 4 for the Tigers. Ewing caught tape. McGrath caught hands. 19 kills for Mia McGrath, 18 kills for Mia Moore.
And with a block in front of her, Mia McGrath just powers it through. Nice follow through.
Philly Maua, good cover by Henke. Right back to her. Picked up by Luma. Moore to the back corner again.
Like you said, amazing defense for Clemson. Luma tracking that ball so well, keeping that play alive. And Moore is the hot hand, the hot lefty hand. And when you've got a hot hand like that, you keep going back to her. Santa's really good at that.
Lexi Mason takes the swing off the right. Florida State's got to try to do something different. Not a bad idea. Mason able to terminate, and the Noles are back within 5.
It was a good swing by Lexi Mason, who delayed just a little bit. She's got a nice roundhouse swing. She's a lefty, kind of like Mia Moore, two opposite lefties. So the block not lined up in that cross court.
There's that combination play again. Yamamoto flies in from absolutely nowhere to pick it up. Mason misses the sideline, though, and it's a point to the Tigers.
That's Yamamoto's 17th dig, just quietly steady, leading all players in digs.
17 digs, 7 assists for Yamamoto. Off the net serve. Here's another look for Mason off the right. Lexi Mason has a couple of kills here in a sequence of points. Decent run through the front row there for number 26 in white.
That was a nice fast arm swing by Lexi Mason. I think she definitely felt a little gap in the block. Look at about a foot of space, so she felt that gap, knew she needed to take care of the ball quickly, and with that fast arm swing was able to get the kill.
Florida State within 5 points of Clemson. The Tigers within 3 points of the red zone. McGrath off hands. Henke ranges back. Nicholson pin to Philly Maua, dug by Gildon. Hansen picked up by Yamamoto. Now Kapia off the gap. McGrath roofed. And if you're Chris Poole in Florida State, you're probably saying it's about time.
And that's a giant wall. Sova, Kapia just putting up an absolute wall. There was no gaps in it, and with their hands pressed down towards the court, there was no way to cover.
It's felt like Clemson has come away the victor of a lot of those kinds of rallies. Florida State finally able to do so themselves. McGrath goes to work offensively, dug up and over. Second look to her, turned back by the block. Why not again? Picked up by Yamamoto down the line. Philly Maua this time is roofed. Hansen with the answer defensively.
We have seen some amazing net defensive plays. The block touches have been really good, and Hansen, they're very disciplined as a blocker.
5-point lead once again as McGrath rotates to the back row. Katie Herta checking into the front for the Tigers. Yamamoto ranges over to keep Florida State in the rally. Hansen off 1 foot, puts it away, and Kate Hansen is stringing together points now for the Tigers.
And like we said before, when you run the 5-1, your middle blocker has got to be good off 1 foot behind the setter just to really stress the block and have that presence over there at the right pin. Hansen's really good at the slide.
Philly Maua. Off hands and playable. Hansen. Yamamoto just digs it into the stands, and Kate Hansen has been incredible here of late.
Coach told us Kate Hansen has the reins of the offense. She's good at setting tackers along the net, setting them up for good looks, and she's good at finding the hot hands, and she knows right now it's Hansen.
Hitting a career best 335 this season. There's a service error.
If you're Florida State, the run has to start now. You have to apply the service pressure because Clemson attacking pretty efficiently, so you need to work to get them off the net.
Tigers are closer to sealing the match than Florida State is to Clemson. That's a good start. No margin for error for the Seminoles, and they've got their best statistical server at the service line.
And that's what it takes, causing the overpass, giving your team an overpass a chance to score, now only down by 5.
20 kills, 10 digs for Kylene Philly Maua. This time goes short to McGrath. Hansen picked up by Yamamoto. Kapia tipped back, picked up by Yamamoto. Henke down the line, got it.
Great defensive plays from Florida State. They're locking down the net, love that set. Yane Henke off balance, but it doesn't matter because she's so athletic. She can get it to go down by painting that line.
Again, short. Hansen takes it on first contact. McGrath called for the illegal back row attack. Timeout, Tigers.
Florida State on a big time run. That's a smart timeout.
3-point lead for Clemson Tallahassee since 2007. Jackie Simpson-Keir called her first timeout of the set with the Noles on a 4-0 run. And her Tigers, who believe that tomorrow's success is built on how they show up today, we'll see if they can show up in the red zone and seal the deal in this 4th set. Philly Maua serves once more. We're back underway. Herta, dug up by Yamamoto. Henke.
This is a good rotation for Florida State. Kylene Philly Maua back to serve. Henke, who's their points leader, is now in the front row. For Clemson, McGrath is in the back row. So this is a good rotation for Florida State compared to Clemson.
And Mio Yamamoto is just digging everything over these last few points. Herta turned back by the block. Clemson able to recycle. Second look. Yamamoto got a hand on it. Philly Maua tracks it down. We play on. Hansen off 1 foot.
Clemson needed that. They needed to stop the bleeding while they can. Florida State on a great run there. That's the kind of stand that I was talking about, the emotional stand where you think, okay, I'm not going to go down like this. Florida State went on that run because they took a stand. Now let's see if they can make up these 3 points.
Florida State's been able to get Yane Henke going. There's another kill for number 18 in white, her 17th of the match.
And now it's going to be about how does Clemson respond? Can they side out quickly? Yane Henke in the front row, Kylene Philly Maua in the front row. Ewing, who can catch on fire if the setter-hitter connection is there, is also in the front row.
Russ into serve, and Sant calls her own number as the front row setter and takes it over on 2.
Sant's decision-making has been so good in this match. Who she's setting, when she decides to go over on 2 and make herself an offensive weapon, it's been absolutely elite.
Sant now goes to the back row, which means Florida State will get a healthy dose of Mia Moore, and that is something you cannot do if you are the Seminoles. A breakdown on serve receive had an awful time for the Garnet and Gold. Henke, dug up by Gildon. Nice job playing it off the roof by Sant, but McGrath couldn't play it over. Boy, you can tell everybody's starting to get tight here at the end of this 4th set.
You're 100% right. You can feel it. Last match of the season, everyone a little tight. They can feel the weight that carries of this being the last time you're going to be on the court in the 2025 season.
And for some of these players like Nellie Stevenson, likely the last time in their respective careers. Good serve, though, by Stevenson. It's an overpass that's put down by Ewing. And the call will go to Clemson.
Yeah, they're going to call it a carry. So technically, it just can't look sticky. It can't look like you caught it and then threw it. That's a tough call at a tough time. She was not expecting that. Florida State was not expecting that. She took care of the ball, but maybe just held on to it for a little too long.
And Clemson, who comes in off of a sweep over Syracuse, has match points to win their last 2 matches of 2025. That is not challengeable. The Noles are out of timeouts. It'll be Luma to serve the first match point for the Tigers. Henke, off hands, played up by McGrath. Moore, off hands, and that does it. Clemson comes on the road